When Rebecca Morgan thought back on the last few years of her life, she often marveled at how much had changed in her family. The Morgans lived in a small town in Oregon, surrounded by pine trees, fresh air, and a close-knit community. Rebecca, a mother in her early 40s, had always been the steady hand of her household. Her husband, Daniel, worked long hours as a carpenter, and their teenage son, Ethan, was just beginning to navigate the confusing waters of high school. Life seemed predictable, but Rebecca never could have guessed that one simple gesture of kindness, a massage, would transform the way her family connected with each other forever. Rebecca had always been the caretaker. She worked part-time at the town's library, spending her days surrounded by books, stories, and the quiet comfort of literature. In the evenings, she cooked dinner, helped Ethan with homework, and made sure Daniel had everything he needed after long days of physical work. It wasn't that she minded. She loved her family more than anything, but she often forgot to take care of herself. By the time she climbed into bed at night, her back ached, her shoulders felt like bricks, and she sometimes lay awake wishing she had the luxury of a spa day. Of course, spa days weren't exactly in the family budget, so she pressed on quietly. One particular Saturday evening, Rebecca was sitting on the couch, rubbing her shoulders absent-mindedly. She didn't even realize she was groaning softly until Ethan, who had been sprawled on the floor working on a science project, looked up. "Mom, are you okay?" he asked, his brown eyes widening with concern. Rebecca smiled faintly. "Oh, I'm fine, sweetheart. Just tired. My shoulders feel like I've been carrying the world around all day." Daniel glanced up from his recliner, where he was reading the newspaper. "You do carry the world around," he said warmly. "You keep this family going." Rebecca laughed lightly and waved her hand dismissively. "Don't exaggerate. I'm just tired, that's all." Ethan frowned. He set down his pencil and leaned forward. "Do you want me to try something? Coach had us doing stretches after practice this week, and he showed us how to loosen up our shoulders. Maybe I could help." Rebecca raised an eyebrow. "You want to give me a massage?" "I mean, yeah," Ethan said, shrugging. "I don't know if I'll be good at it, but I could try." Daniel chuckled from his chair. "Go on, Beck. Let the kid give it a shot. He might surprise you." Rebecca hesitated but eventually nodded, moving to sit on the edge of the couch. Ethan stood up, a little nervous but determined. He placed his hands carefully on his mom's shoulders and started to knead gently, remembering the techniques his coach had taught. His touch was clumsy at first, but as he continued, Rebecca felt her muscles slowly begin to relax. She let out a sigh she didn't know she was holding. "That's actually really nice," she admitted, closing her eyes. Ethan grinned.
"See?
Told you I could help." Daniel set down his paper, watching with pride. "You've got a knack for that, son." As the minutes passed, something unexpected happened. It wasn't just the relief Rebecca felt from the massage. It was the connection. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't rushing, multitasking, or worrying about the next thing on her to-do list. Instead, she was simply present, sitting quietly with her son's hands easing away her tension. It was a moment of stillness, of care flowing in the other direction. She wasn't the caretaker right then, she was the one being cared for. When Ethan finally stopped, Rebecca turned and hugged him tightly.
"Thank you, sweetheart. You don't know how much I needed that."
Ethan hugged her back, surprised by the tears in her eyes. "It's no big deal, Mom." But it was. For Rebecca, it was everything. And for Ethan, it sparked something he didn't expect, a deep desire to be helpful in new ways. That night was the beginning of a small but powerful change in the Morgan household. Ethan began offering little shoulder sessions for his mom whenever he noticed she looked tired. Sometimes he even helped his dad after long days of carpentry, pressing carefully along Daniel's arms and back. Daniel joked about it at first, but soon he admitted that Ethan's efforts actually helped ease the stiffness in his muscles. Before long, massage became more than just physical relief. It became a way for the family to show kindness and gratitude to one another. Over the weeks that followed, the Morgans found themselves slowing down more often, gathering in the living room not just to watch TV, but to simply spend time together. Rebecca began opening up about her own dreams, things she hadn't shared in years. She told Ethan she once wanted to study art history. She confessed to Daniel that she sometimes missed painting, a hobby she had given up when life got too busy. The gentle, quiet moments gave her space to remember herself again. Ethan, too, began talking more openly. In the calm atmosphere of those evenings, he shared his worries about fitting in at school, about the pressure of sports, about the uncertainty of who he was becoming. Rebecca and Daniel listened, not as busy parents rushing through dinner conversations, but as family members who were truly present. The act of giving and receiving care created a space where vulnerability felt safe. One afternoon, Rebecca came home from work to find Ethan researching something on the family computer. She leaned over his shoulder and saw articles about massage therapy and physical wellness. "Thinking about a school project?" she asked. Ethan shook his head, his cheeks turning red. "Actually, I was just curious. I kind of like helping people feel better. I don't know, maybe it's silly." Rebecca placed a hand on his shoulder. "It's not silly at all. In fact, it's really thoughtful. You have a gift, Ethan." Daniel agreed later that evening. "You've got strong hands from basketball, but you're also gentle. That's a good combination. If you like helping people, there's a future in that." The idea planted itself in Ethan's mind and quietly grew. He continued practicing, sometimes jokingly offering Morgan family spa nights, where Rebecca and Daniel would both sit down for turns while Ethan tried out new techniques he had read about. What started as a casual family moment was slowly shaping into a dream. The turning point came months later, when Rebecca injured her back while carrying a heavy box of donated books at the library. She tried to downplay it, but the pain was worse than she let on. That evening, Ethan noticed immediately. "Mom, sit down. Please. Let me help." Rebecca hesitated but agreed. As Ethan worked carefully, using everything he had learned, she felt her pain ease little by little. Tears welled in her eyes, not just from the relief, but from the overwhelming pride she felt in her son. Daniel sat nearby, watching with admiration.
"You're good at this, Ethan."
"Real good." That night, Rebecca realized the full weight of what had changed in their family. It wasn't just about massages. It was about the way her son had stepped up, the way her husband encouraged it, and the way they all found themselves leaning into kindness, patience, and presence with one another. The massage that started as a simple gesture had grown into a symbol of their love and connection.